Okay, something a little different this time. Yes, I know, for once it's not rear axle. I'm trying to get the brake lines sorted out. I'm not quite sure what happened with the wiring harness, whether I took it the wrong route or what. However, the brake switch wires there would really only reach to this point. And as far as I'm aware, this coupling should have probably been where that hole is. I'm not sure on that. However, it doesn't matter because I'm making all my own brake lines anyway. I'm not using ones that were originally there. And this has got 4 ports on it. So there's 2 for the front brakes, one for each side, 1 for the rear brakes, and the other one that comes from the brake booster, which will go in that big hole there. So you're trying to, figure out how best to do it. Now down here, that hole there, that's where the brake pipe has to come through for the front brake on this side, which is the right-hand side of the vehicle. And I've got to, I tried to figure out the best route. I didn't want to come up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come through here and up here and then across to this connection here. So this in here, tuck in behind the wire. Why didn't I want to come up here? Well, because when I get to this point, the right angle will be very tight indeed, and not impossible, but why make it difficult? I can do what I want to do, so I'm going to come up here. Where it comes through here, I don't want to make this bend really tight, so I'm going to come out a bit and then come back in and then come up here and make the turn. Now, I have started on the pipe, and this is it so far. So that will be how it will be in position. Hang on a second. So it will be connecting and then coming across, going through the firewall, up, and then it'll have a right angle here. Sorry, I'm moving the camera around. It'll have a right angle here, roughly where my finger is, roughly. So it's fun. You got to remember to do certain things. And I've just seen something I haven't done, and let me show you what it is. That, the grommet. So that should come off. The grommet has to go on, so I'm doing all this one-handed, chaps. And then obviously the nipple, or the connector. So now I've got all the pieces on, so when I start putting bends in up here, I've got these on already. I will take them off again. Why am I going to do that? Because I've got to feed this in and out to get it to the right shape before I make the final bend and make the final end off, making sure this connector is on there. So I will be taking it off again because it's easier without all this shit in the way. Let me get on with it, and I'll show you in a second. Just one thing I want to add regarding making polyps and bending. Now, understand, I am absolutely no expert on this. In fact, this is one of my first attempts at making my own pipes. When you're doing a bend, and you want it, I don't know about you, I get it wrong so many times. So I've got this little piece here that I've already got a bend in. So I know now where the bend starts and where the bend ends. So if I want to measure from here, this center here, to the center of a hole, or where I want it to be, there, I know that I've got to allow for this. And to do that, I need to know where the bend starts. And that's where I use this piece. I go, okay, the bend starts here, so that's where I need to start bending it so that I end up with my center here. Kind of odd, but hey, it's what you got to do. Okay. Look at that beast, huh? So that's the whole pipe ready, bent. Got the ends on. Yeah, the rubber grommet I could Probably could have got on afterwards, but hey. Here are the braided hoses. Now I do need to go down to my local Ace Hardware and get the big nuts for the ends here. In fact, I've got to get 3 of those, so well, I guess it's time to go shopping. Okay, now the front brake hose, part number CO13686SS, has this very fine thread on it, and unfortunately, which I think is pretty piss poor, these hoses don't come with the nut. They put a nut on this end, which you really don't need, but they don't put a nut on this end. So I had to go and try and find one. Now I could probably find it online. I could probably go to S&G Barrett or somebody like that and pay a fortune for it. However, I went down to my local Ace Hardware and picked up this reducing adapter, 1/2" MIP 7/16 Phi, and this is what's inside. It's an adapter, but the thread is perfect. What I did is I just put that in my vise and cut the coarse thread off, and then this thread fits nicely. Hang on a second. Sorry, one-handed again. And that fits. It does it. I promise it fits. Look, it fits. Hang on. There you go. Look, that fits. See? Now, I cut this, and you know, I'll put hands up and say, oh shit, I cut it kind of crooked, but it doesn't matter, because that will not matter. I will use the flat side, and then the pipe will go in the top here without a problem. Not so pretty, I grant you, but hey, what the hell. Granted, I could turn it up the other way, it really doesn't matter. But I know what I'm going to do, and that's I'm going to grind this off and try and make it flat. So there you go. Your local Ace Hardware in America, but that's the thing, a 7/16 FE comp, whatever FE comp is, compression I guess. There you go. Okay, here the pipe is, through my little grommetty hole down there, up, and connected in here, good and tight. Now on the wheel side, wheelie, there it is. Pipe comes through here nicely. I've tried to keep it away, and I'm going to get a little bit more room there, away from the suspension. Not that it's going to move, but it, you know, hey, let's be careful. And there it is, all nicely connected. I did use Loctite here on this nut, just to be sure. The only concern I have is here. That is resting on it. Now, when the weight is back on the vehicle, I don't know if that's going to touch. If it does, I'm going to have to make something to keep that away. You know, be a bracket, or I don't know. Something neat, not a fucking wire tie. I tried to take it into the top and, you know, bring the brake pipe up the other way. Can't do that. This is not long enough to loop from the middle up to the top. Now bear in mind that I have upgraded the front brakes, so I'm probably shooting myself in the foot a bit. But there you go. Yeah, I got the Willwood brakes on this with the drilled and slotted rotors. So, you know, you have to make some adaptations. That adaptation could be a bracket just to keep it out of the way, but I have to bear in mind that the wheel will turn. So, you know, you gotta bear these things in mind. I can't just fix it there and go, yeah, that's it, it's okay. That's not going to happen. You know, maybe I'll have to put something here. I don't know. I'm going to have to see. I'm going to have to do some experiments by, when I get it on my ramp, turn it full right lock, full left lock, and see where this baby is. It may not touch, it may not be an issue, but we will have to see. Okay, that's a very short video on just this pipe. I will be now doing the other side, because because I want to get the front brakes sorted. Now the next one, front brake wise, give me a second here. I'm going to come, I think, that's what I told her last night. You see, I have choices. That one, or that one for the front. I think, and suggestions, please. Now this one, I could just loop down to the brake booster. This one could go down for the rear brakes, and this one could come across and down here somewhere. Got to be careful where, because I've got the radiator to go in here. Maybe that should be for the booster, and then this should be looping for down to there. You see, and that's the route. It's got to come down here and then across the frame here to get to the other side. Going to require a bit of the old grey matter, this one, isn't it, huh? I'm really not sure. However, I will sit here and procrastinate for ages, and I'll let you know what I decide in another video. Right now, I'm going to end this one here and say, get out in that garage and do some shit.